The nostalgia, guys, that I'm feeling right now is unreal. Hey everyone, Joe here from the Minecraft Alliance, and welcome back to yet another random vlog, guys. And today we're here to talk about this, and this, and this, and why does it have holes in it? I don't know. This was kept in my pencil case throughout the exam season because this is my copy of the exam timetable. All colour coded, telling you guys, not telling you guys, but telling me what exams I've done, which revision sessions I'd attended, which ones I hadn't. I do have some funny stories about some revision sessions, which I will talk about in the next video I'll be uploading in the Run Vlog series, which will be my life at secondary school. But yeah, that's for another time. But I've got these. I'm not going to show you them, but what I will do is I'll include a picture on the screen now of them. These are little yellow slips you get put on your desk, but because I was in a quiet room, I basically kept them. And they are, what they are, is they are little slips that give you all your information, like your year, or they tell you what your name is for one. They tell you what your year is, your registration group, your exam, your candidate number, which I'm not going to tell you guys mine, but mine begins with a 5, I'll tell you that much. But it's got your unique candidate identity, I think is what UCI stands for, which is the component code, the date, which the first one was the 15th and the last one was the 15th. Crazy, I know, and the time, 9 o'clock. Right then, let's get started. So the first exam, as I said, was on the 15th of June at, no, it was not the 15th of May at 9 o'clock, and it was French listening. Now for me, foundations here, which now for me, I found that quite enjoyable. One of the funny things I mentioned, I've tried to do this video about 5 times now. One of the funny things that I remember from that exam was the fact that there was the higher tier one going on next door, and sometimes they have crossover questions, and then we'd started a bit earlier than they had, because they were all going through, like properly going through it, obviously, but we were a little bit more relaxed because of the first exam, you know what I mean, kind of just trying to be relaxed a bit more. And we basically, what did we do? I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, there was a question that was on both papers, and because we started earlier, it was later in my paper, but earlier in theirs, so it kind of came up at the same time, and it was like I could hear it, and about I could hear it in my speakers, and then 2 seconds later I could hear it in the speakers next door, which really did make me laugh. I think one of the other things that was really helpful, I will say, during my exams, because I had a quiet room for my exams and 25% extra time, which so my quiet room, it was nice because that room I would come to every now and again and just not relax in there, but relax in there. So it was more, I liked the room. Whereas with exam rooms, normally you're a bit like, oh heck, but no, this room I'd come to like, which was good. And it was the sort of place I associated with kind people. So the reading paper, don't really remember much about the reading paper, to be honest. Not really, not that it was unforgettable, it was unforgettable apparently. I just remember, one other thing I remember about the listening paper was the fact that they mentioned SDF, which I think I've just butchered the pronunciation now. I don't know if he still watches, but I did used to have a French person that watches my videos, so if you do still watch my videos, friend, let me know. How much did I butcher that pronunciation of homeless people? I think it's SDF. God, I'm dreadful. Moving on to biology and chemistry. Couldn't really remember them too much. I did have a lot to say about them. They were okay. I think everyone really realised just how maths heavy the new science GCSEs were when they came up. Because don't forget, apart from maths and English, this was a new specification of exams for every subject, which really kind of put everyone off. Now, the French writing test. Ding, 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 ding. Foundations here. Loved it. I got to be honest, I was so happy when I opened that paper and I looked, because what I generally do is I tend to look through the questions, and I was so happy. There was like one word in the translations I couldn't translate, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Should have at least picked up about 7-8 marks in there though. And then got to the writing tasks. I wrote so much for like the 40 word. I think I wrote 90 words for the 40 word task. I just had so much to say, and I was so happy. And English literature paper 1, an inspector. No, that wasn't an inspector course. That was the paper 2. It was Macbeth and A Christmas Carol. Macbeth, A Christmas Carol was Scrooge's fears, and Macbeth was something to do with Banquo, Macbeth, and the supernatural. which I use quite a lot. I also wrote about how, I wrote about how it's ironic that Banquo becomes a ghost and haunts Macbeth because of his dislike of the supernatural. I also wrote in the Christmas Carol one that Scrooge fears the supernatural, because he does, in my opinion. And that's what they always used to say to us. They said, if you can back it up, which I'm hoping that I did. It just kind of intrigued me to think, where are my exam papers now? Whenever I was doing my exams, I had this weird vision of like people that have been like a documentary of like selecting a student and following their exam paper from the student, from it being printed to the student writing in the exam paper to it being marked to, you know what I mean, just basically everything. Physics paper 1, less said about that the better, I'm gonna be honest. I hated physics paper 1. I mean, biology and chemistry were like, okay. Physics paper 1, I utterly despised physics paper 1. Maths paper 1, I can't really remember much about maths, to be honest. I think there was the tunnel question, which I thought was quite funny. I don't think it was funny, I enjoyed it. English literature paper 2, and in spectacles, poetry, what came up? Ozymandias. The question from the specimen papers, which nobody expected. The other thing, a big meme that came out of that exam was, how would you fit 3 numbers into 2 boxes? There's a question, you have to write, the book you get is like a book and you get 2 little boxes, you have to write the question number because you don't answer every question in English literature, for those of you who don't know. And then you have to write, and then it gets to one point where it's like, answer one of these questions, 27.1 or 27.2, and it's like, so you give me 2 boxes. For me, it'd be, you need 4 boxes because you need one for the decimal point as well. But English literature paper 2, I must say, I didn't love it. There was a poem in there with the name Schofield, I remember. That was interesting. And then, was this the same day? No. The first day back, we had history, Elizabeth, and America. Gotta be honest, I thought they were okay. I feel like I did quite okay in them. Then the next day, we had English language paper 1, which was, I can't remember what the text was. Was that the one about the guy that stole the kid's story? I think that might have been that one. Yeah, because the second one is non-fiction, ain't it? I think. The one thing I will say is, the one about the surfboards, I think that was the second one. How nice was that paper they gave it to you on? It's like proper like laminate paper, and it's like, I feel almost bad writing on it. It's like proper paper. And but then like the one for the story about the teacher that read the story that the kid had written, and then kind of funnily lost it on the way home. That I thought was quite funny. That one that one was just printed on regular paper. I found that quite funny. Yeah, so that's that. Maths paper 2, not much really more to say about that. Now we've reached my least favourite day of the exam season. The 8th of June, a week away from finishing, and this is what we had. English literature paper 2 for 2 hours and 15 minutes. English language paper 2 for, wait no, that wasn't so bad then. 1 hour and 45 minutes in the morning, and then in the afternoon, Germany for an hour for 45 minutes, and then health and medicine for an hour and 15 minutes, totaling 3 hours and 45 minutes of exams. And ultimately, the Germany and the America one, the Germany and the health and medicine one, ultimately ended up in us being late home, which I remember saying to people, you do realise that's going to make us late home, right? And people would look at me like, wait, what? And it just made me laugh. Moving now to the final week. Biology back again. I don't really remember much about some of these exams. Maths again, don't really remember much. Chemistry. Physics. The last physics exam, I hated it. Purely because I finished the exam about 20 minutes early. Even by extra time standards. Even before the end of normal time. And I was just sitting about. And at that point, I was just like, getting all giddy. I'm like, okay, 20 minutes to go. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Because at that point, it was the last day. But, of course, I ended up staying later. I ended up staying until, I think I left the school at about 5 o'clock all in all that day. When I could have left as early as 10:30. But the thing that amused me was the fact that while I was there, I learned that students had decided to try and burn their blazers to say goodbye, which I thought was quite funny, and that caused a bit of drama. And oh, one of the thing that I thought was hilarious about that same day they had new blazers delivered, which I thought was really good and really funny. And then the other thing, I met with one of my spent the rest of the day with the caretakers, basically. I helped them out a bit. Well, I wrote a load of thank you letters out in their office, and me and the caretaker, who's called Mick, we were talking. The apprentice Bradley had come in. We were all having a conversation. This was about 2:30, and then all of a sudden a bell starts ringing, like outside. And me, because you will find this out, you probably already know this. Me, I know, because I don't like loud noises. I'm like, bell, fire alarm. I jump up straight away, and then I jump up straight away, and Vic's like, where are you going? And I'm like, that's the fire alarm. And Vic just looks at Bradley, and you can see, and I looked at both of them, and you can just see that they're like, he's right, run! But I ended up standing with the teachers, because obviously everyone else had gone home. The teachers that didn't have classes, or tutor groups, and everyone was having a conversation about it, and we were talking about like finishing exams, and I was standing with my year head, who obviously didn't have a year to supervise because we'd all gone home, apart from a few others. But then there was a post-16 exam going on and people were talking, so they had to get them back in quickly. But anyway guys, I've rambled on a bit, so I have to cut this down, but this is guys, what the hell is that? Guy. So anyway guys, this is going to be the end of the video. I'm going to have to cut it down a bit because I've rambled on quite a lot. But I just enjoyed reminiscing, guys. I'm going to be doing the My Life at Secondary School video and the Real Downward Spiral video later on today, talking a little bit more about my actual experiences. And I had a very bad experience, quite a bad mental health downward spiral in around February of this year. But I was picked up, very much so, by a lot of the community around me, and I will be talking more about that in the next video, guys. It will be My Life at Secondary School, then The Real Downward Spiral, then I've got to do a video about why I love Harry Potter so much, then I'm going to bring you guys an updated house tour, which was supposed to be uploaded on the 30th of July, but I didn't do it because, again, I'm behind. Apologies for that. But anyway guys, if you have enjoyed today's video and you want to see more content like this on the channel, then please click to like the video, please subscribe if you're new. Let me know guys what you think about the new end screen. It's going to be slightly different, hopefully, later on, because when I can get to go outside, I want to do some filming. It's currently 4:25, so I'm going to be going outside soon and getting some filming done for that. So enjoy. Look forward to that in the next video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Do hope you enjoyed. I need to clear out my phone because this video is getting long now. Goodbye, guys. Oh, one more thing relating particularly to the Real Downward Spiral video. Don't forget, you are awesome! Don't know anything different, of course, because you always are. And I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Goodbye!